You know how when you're a kid and you have that one action figure that you just play with all the time and you can't stop playing with it to the point where you chip the paint off or you break it or you just eventually lose it and then you cry because you don't have that figure anymore. But then when you're an adult, you can kind of get the same thing, only better. That's what this one is. This is Sixth Scale Archaeology. Hey everyone, this is Rob, your archaeologist friend, and this is Sixth Scale Archaeology. I'm here today because I want to talk about that action figure that I had when I was little. I forget exactly how old I was, but it was right after The Empire Strikes Back came out, and I got a whole bunch of action figures from that line. And there was one that I just played with all the time. And I don't really remember why I played with it all the time. It was just, for whatever reason, this figure was one of those figures that I just really, really liked. And I'll show them to you right now. So you remember this guy. At least if you're as old as I am, you remember this guy. This was the snowspeeder pilot, Luke Skywalker. And he came with the really cool snowspeeder vehicle, which I absolutely loved. But yeah, he, for whatever reason, I just loved this figure. I always loved this figure. I mean, here's another look at him. As you can see, he's just cool looking. I played with this thing so much that the paint rubbed off over time, and eventually you couldn't even tell who it was supposed to be. It was just mostly an orange action figure, which was fine. You know, you make do, you use your imagination. That's what we used to do. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have any of that stuff. So it was all imagination, and it was fine. We were good. We had a good time. That was it. But years later, that figure has long gone, and I missed him. So, Rob, you might say, what does this have to do with Sixth Scale? That's clearly not a Sixth Scale action figure. And you're right, it's not. That was one of those little Kenner figures that was, I don't know, what is that, 3 3/4 inches? I forget. And you're right, that's not a Sixth Scale figure. But then Hot Toys announced this. MMS 585. This was the snowspeeder pilot Luke Skywalker. And the second I saw it, I thought, I'm definitely going to have him. I mean, look at how good he looked with the pop of the orange flight suit, and the helmet looks amazing on him. I don't have him posed with the helmet at the moment, but I mean, I did for a while and it looked fantastic. But I wanted to be able to see the head sculpt too, so I have him posed with the helmet off. But this figure is everything that Kenner figure was and 1,000% more. I absolutely love him. And so here he is. This is Luke Skywalker snowspeeder pilot in my collection. And as you can see, as I said earlier, the color just pops. He looks so good. I'm so happy that I made this purchase because everything I loved about that Kenner figure just all came flooding back to me as soon as I had this guy in hand. It is just one of the best Luke Skywalker Hot Toys that I could have ever hoped for. You can even pose him hanging upside down from the grappling hook underneath the AT-AT walker. So yeah, this is one of my favorite figures. It's a grail to me because of what it meant to me as a kid. And I just love that look for Luke Skywalker. Later on, I also really like the his Bespin fatigues, the brown suit that he fights Vader with at the end of the movie. But I don't know, this one was always my number one for that, for the action figures at least anyway. And I can't put my finger on why. It just was. And I just loved it. And after it's been so many years that I didn't know what happened to my action figure, the little one, and then this thing became available, I was over the moon. So yeah, that's a grail to me. And I'll always have this figure because it reminds me of a time when things were a lot simpler. And those of you around my age, you're going to know what I'm talking about. We play with these things and we collect these things because they key off of our nostalgia, and we like to go back to that warm, fuzzy place when we remember those times. And that's what this one does for me. A bunch of my figures do that for me as well, but this one for me has a special place in my heart, and it always will. So thanks for joining me for Sixth Scale Archaeology, Episode 7. Please hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe, because I'm trying to grow my channel, and you guys are really helping me out with that. So please keep it up. In the meantime, we will see you for Episode 8. Remember, it's not the years, it's the mileage.